Welcome back. The market is open again. We have live streams to do. This is exciting. I tell you, Saturdays and Sundays sometimes are like, it was not much going on in the news. Less videos to make. I don't know. I enjoy news going on. Like tomorrow, actually, I mean this week's going to be a pretty big news week. We've got the CPI data coming out tomorrow. We've got tons of stuff coming up. We'll look at the econ calendars in just a moment, but let's go ahead and look at pre-market first and try to figure out what the heck is going on in pre-market relative to what happened last week. So we'll do that first, and then we'll look at the econ calendar. So we've got U-time and pre-market here well, let's go to all stocks here. There we go. Okay, so worst thing in pre-market here is actually Tilray, down about 7.5%. So that's got to be news related here. Let's see. An hour ago, as fiscal Q3 results trail consensus. Ouch. Okay. Impacted by lockdowns across Canada. That could almost have an impact for probably all of the cannabis plays in Canada. So many of them are in Canada. Anyway, moving on. Let's see. Arcali, Naked. These guys down about 2.8, 2.6%. Plug Power's down 2.5, down 1% on Friday. Zom was down 6% on Friday, down 2. Cannabis. Well, it makes sense. XL Fleet. Wow, it's 788 now. Down almost 6% on Friday, down another 2.2 now. Clever was up 18% on Friday, but is down 2.2 right now. Fuel Cell down about 2.17 here. Shift down about 2 as well. Shift really just giving up its Friday gains. QuantumScape. Gosh, QuantumScape down 3.6 and another 1.94 today in the pre-market. The cruise lines, that's interesting. Gevo down as well. Norwegian here 1.87, Blink down 1.77, DoorDash, Gevo, United. That's interesting. Some of the recovery plays over here. Excuse me. Sorry. All right. Microvision. Let's see. 1.41 on Microvision. Microvision slowly kind of having its little sell-off there after that Microsoft news. It's unfortunate for Microvision. What else do we have here? Let's see here. We've got Cost, Open Door, Cap, Upstart. A lot of these guys all down about that 1%. There goes Canopy and Sundial, another 1% over here. Etsy kind of giving up its Friday gains as well. Cloudflare down. I want to know, how's CrowdStrike doing? CrowdStrike. I want to see, let's see, how are some of these guys doing after Jerome Powell talked about cyber? Let's see, CrowdStrike. Well, where's the darn thing? There it is. CrowdStrike down a third. It was also down a third on Friday. Keep in mind what Jerome Powell said yesterday. The biggest threat to our economy is not a 2008 style crash. He strongly believes that a 2008 style crash is not likely, but does believe that cyber risk and the threat of somebody potentially hacking banks is a bigger risk. It kind of made me tweet out yesterday some more support for Bitcoin, blockchain, just being so resistant to hacking. Could definitely be a nice competitor to financial institutions, especially in cyber risk scenarios. Anywho, moving on here. So what else we got? We got some things down about 0.5% here. Matterport's down 0.5%. Amazon EXPI, Apple, Netflix, API. That's backing there for Clubhouse, Dave & Buster's. A lot of mix today. I see a lot of recovery, but also some of the tech down nominally here. Alibaba got fined like, what was it, like $2 billion or something like that. But because they finally got fined, and it kind of puts an end to this saga and the drama in China, the thing's up 6.5%. I love it. So what else do we have? SOS, Uber, Palantir. These are the guys that are up today. SOS about 5.7%. We'll see if this one's running today. NGA 1.7. Tesla's up 1.3. It was up a little more in the pre-market. So, oops, there we go. Siri's trying to talk to me again. Go away, Siri. You know, I really got to just go through all of the different devices here and turn her off. Okay, we got the opening bell coming up here in a moment. So let's make sure we've got that up and ready. All right, what do we got? Yeah, we got about 10 seconds. Okay, let's jump on over to it.
That's what most believe.
Look, I think, Carl, what matters.
Oh, look at all the Zoom clapping.
American people with $2 trillion in pent-up excess cash. They are going places. They don't want to be home. Maybe they'll look, the ones who are worried will use Uber Eats. The ones who aren't, they're going to ride Uber. That's why this incredible interview that you have during the new show, Tech Check, is going to tell us the temperature of this country, which we don't know, and we're not getting from the government. I want to know what he says.
Yeah. We'll see what that happens later this morning. There's the opening bell, guys, and a look at the S&P. Given that tenor of reopening and as Jamie Dimon put it, euphoria coming out of the pandemic, why is it that equity volumes are falling so dramatically? And is that a warning sign as we're at these new highs?
Well, I think that candidly, I think that the new kind of buyer that we were talking about, the Robinhood strong buyer, the Merriman, I think they kind of got blown out. A lot of them got blown out because they concentrated on a couple of stocks. They concentrated on, when you look at Wall Street Bets, it really just decided that they were going to focus on AMC, a GameStop, and somewhat Palantir. Kathy Wood, the red hot mutual fund, ETF manager, not that great performance. And then a lot of them get caught up in what I say is the high flyers. And we use Snowflake as an example. They just kind of got into these stocks and didn't know what they really own. Now, all of what I just said is going to cause tremendous opprobrium against me. But I think if we have to
Yeah, what the heck, Jim?
what happened is that the younger investor, once again, kind of didn't go in the right place. Now, there is a lot of margin money that's involved. That's, again, not going to be good given the fact that those stocks went down. We had a two-tone market here. I know we call it value and growth. I think that is absolutely wrong. What we had is secular growth, and that's been hurt. And
you know what's crazy is all it takes is like 6 weeks. Actually, it takes even less than 6 weeks, honestly. But all it takes is a little bit of red at whether it's Kathy Wood's portfolios or different funds, or at Tesla or Snowflake, or who knows, some of the other stocks that as they say, the retail investors love. All it takes is a little bit of red, and then all of a sudden, oh, I guess retail is stupid after all. I guess it really is dumb money. Shucks, darn retail. Guess they should have invested with a fund. But wait, let me rephrase that. Any opportunity I feel like the suits and the media get to bag on retail is almost one that they take, except when retail is crushing it. Like, it's like kick them while they're down. Oh, it's kind of sad. Okay, let's jump on over to see the charts here. So let's see here. Okay, how are we opening here? So Tilray is accelerating its declines. Aurora Cannabis obviously following. We got Zom down 5%, moving down here after barcoding here in the pre-market hours. Let's see, there we go. I'll zoom in a little bit. All right, we've got Plug Power. Plug Power is slipping down. Gosh, 31 now. Look, Plug Power, I've mentioned this. I just want to quickly clarify. Plug Power is going to be one of those stocks that I feel like in like 2027, 2028, I might actually be interested in going heavy on in the future. Not now. Not now. All right, what else do we have here? Fuel Cell, Canopy Growth, XL Fleet, Sundial. A lot of red today. I mean, this is some good 3% declines over here. Open Door, Canoe, Spirit Airlines, API, Electro, Mechanica, QuantumScape. Yep. Lot of acceleration here of the red candlesticks. What's red seems to be accelerating red right now. All right, let's go flip to the other side. And I did promise that econ calendars too, so we're going to have to pull that up. Uber all of a sudden is up 4.6%. Chipotle up 2.8%. We've got Palantir and Tesla each up about, Palantir's up about 1.8%, Tesla's up about 1.3%. Remember, I think a lot of folks didn't actually watch the one particular video I put. Hold on, let me show you this here. And okay, so YouTube, meet Kevin. Okay, I feel like I put this up here. with the toilet paper hands. See, I just sold $1.2 million in stocks. If you haven't watched that yet, I encourage you to watch it, but actually watch it rather than just reading the title, because I sold, but I also bought. So I thought it was kind of funny reading some of the comments like, oh my gosh, Kevin must be thinking the market's going to crash. No. See, if you watch the video. Anyway, okay, cool. So I'm going to get the econ calendar up. Let's listen into this for a moment while I do that.
Just a total unsung hero. And she came to me when the stock was at 17, and she said, you know what? We have the capability of buying of online jewelry. David, I got to tell you, online jewelry. I mean, no way. Yes way. Signet, Drosos, powerful. David.
Wow. Look at that stock. Whoa.
Yes.
I didn't know it was up 700%
Don't
over the
go
last
to Jared, will you? David,
I'm not going to
David, they have these stores.
I'm
You
not-
go
not-
and you
no, I'm not-
buy
I'm not-
jewelry, David.
That's not happening.
You go to
Not
Jared.
happening. Something else you can buy online is
every kiss begins with Faber.
Yeah, it's virtually everything. You can buy anything you want on Alibaba for the most part, probably jewelry as well. Guys, I did want to get to it before we move on this morning because, of course, they did get a $2.8 billion fine, an anti-monopoly fine from Chinese regulators.
Here it is.
Our viewers who've been following this perhaps have been aware of it. You can see, though, it's a relief rally, really. Alibaba's been under the microscope for some time. Its founder, of course, Jack Ma. We talked a lot about him previously and comments that he had made last October, I guess, that put him in a more of an antagonist position with the government. But why is the stock up? Well, there's a feeling that this is it, that this is not going to impact their business really going forward, that it is not ultimately going to be material, that even though it's a great deal of money, it just doesn't really change the equation for Alibaba. And this is what Joe Tsai had to say. They had a conference call on discussing this. And I think this is the theme that's been taken up by many of the investors who are buying the stock now. Look at Mr. Tsai's comments if we have them for you. They're affirming our business model. We feel very comfortable that there's nothing wrong with our business. And we're pleased that we're able to put this matter behind us. So that.
Yeah. Oh, see, that's a big thing. Even though, 2.8 is a lot. One of the things you notice is when companies get closure, or like when news actually comes out of like what's actually going to happen, usually stocks perform well when it's really, really like big negative news. It's just a weird thing. It was kind of like the big pre-election sell-off. Everybody was saying, "Oh, that's it. Biden gets in, the whole market's going to plummet. It's going to be a big, big market crash." And usually it's like when we finally recognize, like, okay, well, this is the reality. How do we adjust now? That the big uncertainty goes away. That's the big thing. We sell off uncertainty much more than we probably should.
If you go to a 1 month chart, you can see what I'm talking about. You see the right-hand side there that looks kind of scallopy, kind of like a pumpkin on Halloween? Well, we have really started to consolidate smaller ranges, less volatility. And if you notice, it's all between right around 168, 163, and that's where we're hovering today. If you look at what's going on with Boone's, well, look at Boone since November.
All right, let's pull back off the calendar here. That is good news, though, that we're having more of that consolidated range there for bonds, less volatility for the stock market. So here's the calendar this week. So today, we pretty much the only thing we have, and we might get some quotes out of this, is at 9 a.m. One of the Fed presidents is speaking. Tomorrow, this is going to be big, though, right here. Right. So here we go. Starting at 5:30 in the morning, California time, we get the CPI release. I'll probably do an individual live stream for this. So if you wanna be here with me during the CPI release, it's gonna suck. But at 5:30 in the morning, I'll do it. 8:30 in the morning Eastern time. Kind of makes me wish I were Eastern. Anyway, Philadelphia Fed, Harker speaks tomorrow. Let's see, Daly speaks tomorrow at the Fed. Bostic speaks. So multiple Fed speakers tomorrow, and this is mostly focused on Fed and econ calendar here. All right, what else do we have? Let's see. Powell speaks on, what do we got here? Powell speaks on Wednesday, although we did just have him on 60 Minutes. Multiple of the bank presidents speak. Okay, so then we get on Thursday, we get U.S. Commerce Department retail sales for March. We get industrial production for March. So Tuesday and Thursday are going to be big production numbers. retail sales and industrial production. That'll be good. We really want to see production go through the roof to help with these supply chain issues. And obviously consumer confidence via retail sales is always nice. March housing starts. That's going to be big as well. We really, really need more housing. Like more housing is so crucial. And we want to see housing starts skyrocket. Even though the cost of inputs like lumber and these other things are way up, it'd still be good to see housing up. Yeah, I did a breakdown of Jerome Powell on 60 Minutes. You can watch that. University of Michigan releases preliminary April U.S. consumer sentiment. And that's on Thursday as well. It's a big day on Thursday, and then nothing really the rest of the week. So yeah, some big numbers coming out this week: production, sentiment, retail. CPI probably tomorrow being the biggest one. And we're expecting it to be big. The year-over-year number. The month-over-the-month number is the one you really want to pay attention to. Look at this. Tesla went up a little bit more here, 1.8 now. We've got Alibaba moving up even more. Alibaba doing some nice green candlesticking here at the open. Bumble, Chipotle, Roblox, Nordstrom. Was it Nordstrom? Didn't they open negative? I thought they were down. And all of a sudden now they're up. It's kind of funny. They're $38. C3AI, finally opening green here. Yeah, Churchill Capital just over 23. Not sure what it is with its obsession with this line. We draw a line and it's like, bounce off the line again. All right, Snowflake, 228, obviously much lower than where it had been after its IPO. That's a big danger. I don't know, but it's just one of the things going into the Coinbase valuation as well. Although I think they're so different. I think Coinbase is so accessible to so many of us, whereas Snowflake is like a big shrouded mystery to so many of us. I think Snowflake coin has a little bit more of that longevity. This is breaking news, they say.
This morning with some very special guests. Hey, John.
It's the Microsoft. Okay, all right. We'll come back there. Let's keep looking at the sticks there for a moment. So Intel, Etsy. Okay, Etsy decided to go green here. Palantir is kind of giving up on its numbers though here. Yeah, Palantir quickly falling to the red. All right, let's go see. Tilray has accelerated declines. ChargePoint is all of a sudden down almost 6%. Gevo is down to $7.80 here. Gina, Golden Nugget, online gaming, it's down 4%. Sundial, 4%. What else here? Things are popping around like crazy here. Canoe, Virgin Galactic, all these guys down over here. And they seem to be accelerating their declines as well in the opening here. Yeah, Carnival down as well. Kind of another mixed, bizarre morning. Let's listen in here for a moment. I'm going to pull up the terminal too so we can get top news, see what the suits are looking at today. Let's take a peek.
Microsoft to bring everything that we have done in healthcare over the years and over the decades with nuance, with partners, is what this deal is all about.
This guy's actually got like a really good camera setup for for a CNBC.
The possibility of getting it cheaper a while ago, and I know you've been working with them for a while. A lot of their new innovative services are built on Azure. So what's the opportunity that you see for growth in the future, both in healthcare and to take some of what Nuance has been doing in this very complicated area and perhaps extrapolate it out to other verticals where you're also looking to grow?
Right. Coming out of this pandemic, John, we are going to see some real structural change. We've already seen in the pandemic a massive acceleration of digital transformation. But coming out of it is going to be real structural change across industries.
Let's move over. Let's try Fox.
Saying that we shouldn't be letting up in this and that corporations should be speaking with their authorities.
I'd just like to know what exactly they want to do about this, which is at this moment unclear. Thanks, Susan. I want to bring in Congressman Jody Hice, Republican from the state of Georgia. Congressman, what do you have to say to these CEOs of major leagues, public corporations, which are taking a stand against you and your state?
All right, we're gonna back off that. All right, so let's go. Let's see here. All right, we got terminal coming up. We'll take a peek at the top news. Let's jump back over here. So we get the Microsoft interview with CNBC. There we got big politics going on at Fox Biz. In the meantime, it would be interesting to try to figure out what's the catalyst for. I mean, look at this everything but Tesla EV sector sell off today. Arcimoto, you've got the Chargers, you've got Canoe. I mean, all of the other EVs are selling down today. Workhorse down, with the exception of Tesla. Tesla's, let's see here. Tesla. Yeah, look at that. Well, then again, Xpeng's up here as well, so we'll have to see where NIO is. Tesla all of a sudden up 2.4%, and it's rapidly rising as well. You've got Xpeng also moving up about 2.8, 2.9%, also rising. Voyager Digital, folks, remember, this is the week of the Coinbase IPO, so it'll be interesting to keep an eye on Voyager. Who knows? Are people going to dump Voyager to go buy Coin, or is Coin going to get revaluated? Revalued. Yeah, I like that better. Revalued. Who knows? It's entirely possible. Values up. All right, let's go look at the top news here really quick. It's just top. All right, so what are the suits reading today? Stocks retreat after S&P 500 record as risks loom. Yeah, there was quite a bit of news this weekend about how the S&P 500 has been up, for its third week in a row and hit all-time highs like 4 times last week, and possibly a sign that it's time to back off the S&P 500 a bit. So who knows? Dow's down 0.1% right now. The S&P 500, I believe, is down a little bit too. We'll pull it up in just a moment here. Let's see. What else do we have here? Coinbase sales towards $100 billion valuation. Oh, nice. Well, is this any news? Let's see here. So we've already known that they were kind of targeting 100 bill. Be nice if we had some share price predictions from Wall Street. We'll hunt into this later. We got some plans for some more Coinbase content over the next few days as we lead up to the IPO on Wednesday. All right, base effect is about to wreak havoc on U.S. inflation data. Yeah, I mean, this is old news. This is when they compare back to last year, right? We go back to the dip. All right, let's see here. Pelosi, Schumer, take the wheel. Okay. No incredibly interesting news right now. Let's pull up the base effects here just to see them. So if you type in St. Louis Fred into Google and we go with CPI, which a lot of folks don't believe the CPI, we can understand a little bit more about what's going to happen tomorrow. So let's do the numbers. So here we go. So last March, we had a reading of 258, we'll round here, on the CPI data, 258. Now, you can see the numbers are going to end up being much worse year over year for April and May. So that's why tomorrow's numbers, I think, are still going to be a little bit muted. It's really going to be entertaining the next 2 months when we actually get the CPI data and it comes in at like, oh my gosh, 4% year over year inflation or whatever, right? Well, let's calculate it really quick. So 258, we're on this trajectory here of gaining about, 0.8%? Yeah, 0.7, 0.8%. So let's add to 263, 161, add about 0.8%. We could round that to 264. So if we go 264 divided by 258, 264 divided by 258, tomorrow's inflation reading could come in at an annualized rate of around that 2.3 to 2.4 is kind of what my guess has been. 2.4 is my guess. The math here is about 2.3. But you can see it really is going to get ridiculous next month, because if we add another, say, 0.8 to 264 for the CPI reading, and then we take the number from April, which is 256.2, 256.2. Look at that, 3.3%. And then it'll bump even more for the month thereafter. Let's go to 65.6. There we go. And that was even a little bit lower, 256. There we go. So that might bring us to about 3.75% year over year inflation. for comparing, and we'll have that data in June. We'll have this data here in May. So right now here in April, we're actually going to be getting the March comparison number. So we're just getting started. All right, they're talking about Euro bonds. All right, let's go back. You see, when they start talking about bonds, it makes you wonder if there's just like no news. In fact, let us quickly, though, also look at the 10-year. We did have a peak there from CNBC that it was pretty much flat, pretty range bound all of a sudden, which is good. I got other reasons to complain about the market. All right, let's go back to the last month here. Yeah, there we go. Look at this incredible volatility just over the last month. But the last few weeks over here, or I shouldn't say few weeks, more like 1 week, kind of been stuck. Kind of stuck between 1.62, 1.67, 1.68 right here. Kind of stuck over here. Go back to the 6 months. Let's see. This rapid acceleration here is kind of what panicked the market. This up, but now we're really nicely kind of softening over here. It's consolidation. Good. All right. Let's go back to the sticks. Let's see what else is suffering. Any buying opportunities? SOS is was taking off there a little bit. Alibaba still moving nicely here, 8%. Also starting to red candlestick here. Voyager Digital doing well. Xpeng's now over 3%. Oh, Xpeng's taking off relative to Tesla. Tesla slowed down, but Xpeng's not. Yeah, okay, now it's starting to. Xpeng's up 3.2%. Xpeng's also pretty, it's not as low as it was at the beginning of March, but it's definitely sold off solidly. All right, but not a lot green today. I have to say. Look at this. We got, maybe 1.5 page Webull pages worth of green. Not a lot. No. AT&T sitting at. See, somebody mentioned if it was going to be a big problem when AT&T eventually goes above 31, and we're like AT&T breaks out of 30 point something. We're like AT&T doesn't go over 30 point something. It's still back there. AT&T, that's like one stock that literally just flat for an entire year. Let's look at it. Actually, it'd be kind of funny. Let's see. Let's zoom out for a moment here, and then we can look at the day chart anyway of these other stocks that we look at. All right, here we go. So look at this. Pretty much since the start of the pandemic, right here. Here's the start of the pandemic, and look at this. How flat to be bouncing between 29 and 31 basically for an entire year. Now they do pay a nice dividend, so you got to give them about that 6% dividend. But anyway, it's pretty flat otherwise. All right, so not much in the green, with the exception of SOS. That one's really trying to move here. Yeah, it is. We just had a red candlestick, but now it's green candlesticking as well. Possibly this is where we got some trade momentum today. 1,800,000. Okay, so the last average over here, I'd say somewhere around 800,000 in trading volume. Let's go jump back to the beginning of Friday quickly here. So beginning of Friday for volume, we're sitting, actually much lower. Probably volume average somewhere around 500,000 in the first half hour. Maybe even less. Yeah, and we're substantially higher right now with volumes. Oh yeah, 700,000-800,000. Actually, probably the prior average was more like maybe 300,000 or 400,000. There were way too many 100s in there for volume. All right, Tesla's trying to. Nope, never mind. Nope, thought it was maybe trying to go green again. No, I'm just gonna stay red. No problem, Tesla. You take your time, okay? Really, the longer Tesla doesn't go to the moon, the better it is, because it gives you more buying opportunities. All right, so like I was joking yesterday. My mother-in-law, she's like, why do you keep asking us when we're finally going to buy a Tesla? And I go, because when you finally buy a Tesla, I'll know to stop buying Tesla stock. And it's not an insult. It's just that they think that the Tesla is going to take over steering without them wanting to, and then drive them into a tree. Like it's just it's gonna have a mind of its own, and that mind is gonna be broken, and it's gonna be very bad. So I don't know. I have no idea. But anyway, that's my thinking is once it's so mainstream that everybody's like, oh, I gotta have a Tesla, bye. That's it. We're done buying at that point. But as long as there are still people who doubt Tesla as much as they do, I'm interested. All right, look at this. ChargePoint down 8%. It makes you wonder if some of the chargers are now selling off a bit because of people thinking that maybe Biden won't be able to get his infrastructure plan through. Who knows? But a lot of these guys selling off rough today here. Workhorse going more towards the middle here. Carnival's down 4.6%. Wow. Let's see. Yeah, just sliding straight down here. Not so good. Maybe it's those variants that we're seeing in Europe. But then again, I always thought that cruise lines would have done better consistently, solely out of thinking that more vaccinated folks would just go on the cruises, or that only vaccinated folks would go on the cruises. I guess there are now TikToks circulating going, wait a minute, there's a place I can go where there are only vaccinated people, possibly cruise ships. Didn't even think about that. Anyway, Enphase. Oh, look at that. Enphase getting beat up today as well. 3% on Enphase. Peloton down 2.3%. Dropbox. Matterport down again. Oh, Matterport. We're getting to that 1313 figure where I gotta do some buying as promised. Beyond Meat. Beyond Meat. I have had this $120 target for Beyond Meat for so long, and it's not like a price target. It's like a buy target, and it always teases me. It gets down to like 128, and then it'll go to like 180, and then it always comes back to revisit my number. So we'll see if it does so again. But yeah, this is definitely a solid amount of red today. Alibaba pulling back a little bit. Tesla's trying to pull up a little bit. Xpeng pulled back a little bit. Let's look at the SPY here. SPY is down about 0.18%. So good chunk of red today. Definitely a red day. I think it's probably a buying opportunity day if you've got some funding to spend. Let's go listen in for a moment here and see what they've got to blab about.
Prelude to Coinbase, but really what you should not forget is Tech Check. I want to congratulate you guys. I think if it's anything like we just saw from Microsoft, it's going to be fantastic. I can't wait. And look, you got the most important guest, because right now Uber is in charge of this country, and Dara knows more than anyone.
I totally disagree with that, Jim. Uber is in charge of this company. You look at that Tesla Loop. Ooh, that Tesla Loop is a problem for Uber and Lyft, and they don't want to admit it. Harass Kramer on Twitter. He actually reads the well, Kramer also blocks a ton of people on Twitter. Let's see here. Tesla is like the house that's worth $100K but is being sold for $25 million. Yeah, I disagree with that. To me, Tesla's like the opposite of that. Tesla's got so much ahead of it. All right, let's see here. Let's go see what Bloomberg has. Okay, literally all of them are on commercial. Fox, CNBC, and Bloomberg, all of them went on commercial at the same time. Jerks. All right, let's go look at the top news again. All right. The inflation dragon is more than a base effect ghost. Ooh. All right. Let's see what this guy's complaining about. This macro man's always actually got interesting titles. Let's see here. The question of whether inflation presents a credible threat to the comfortable status quo will be confronted on 3 vectors over the next several days. Yeah. What do we say? We had consumer price inflation, industrial production, and retail sales. Let's see if those are what he's referring to. March CPI. A few hours later, bond investors will be asked to absorb $24 billion in treasury bonds. Okay. Finally, corporate earnings season will offer an array. Oh, that's true. Earnings start this week as well. A lot of folks looking at the banking sector first to set the stage. Forward outlook on margins looks less than flattering. Yeah, that's another thing that's interesting. Is one way that inflation manifests itself is in lower margins. And folks are really looking for earnings to smash expectations. Just to reiterate that the economy is indeed strong and maybe we don't have to worry about inflation. But inflation does manifest itself in companies' margins. It becomes harder to have a profit margin when shipping is more expensive, containers are more expensive. What is it? 80 to 90% of the world's retail goods travel by ship. And obviously, we know there have been some substantial disruptions with shipping. There's even a report that the Ever Given, the ship that was stuck in the Suez Canal, is being held up as not only Egyptian authorities investigate what happened, but also as they basically demand a $1 billion penalty for blocking the canal. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if that company actually comes up with a bill for that. As you probably know by now, headline inflation is set to pick up dramatically. Yes, we know. All right. Even a flat monthly reading on headline CPI on Tuesday will see the year-over-year rate tick up from 1.7 to 2%. I actually think it'll go higher than 2%. So if they're expecting 2%, then that could be a nice little negative shock. The Fed has said that they will look through this distortion, and they're probably right to do so. Okay. All right, pointing higher. It's not just the base effects. Okay, high frequency metrics are soaring as well. All right, let's see here. Now, skeptics might point to a lesser acceleration in core inflation metrics as a reason for being sanguine about the great inflation debate, beyond the very real fact that you can't eat an iPad and the headline inflation is what matters for many people. You also have to wonder how realistic some of the modeling on shelter is these days. Housing prices are surging everywhere, true, amid a dearth of supply, but of course they are a capital, not a consumer good. Yep. All right. All right. Kind of outlining some fears and concerns. All right. Let's back off this, pull off this for a moment here. Let's go back to, where'd Webull go? Here we go. Oh yeah, Webull, where you can get 2 free stocks worth up to $1,850 when you deposit $100. Hey, look at Tesla on a tear today. Here we go. Look at that, 3.3% here on the open. Let me listen to this White House update really quick, though.
We'll have an audience with the president and his top commerce and national security officials. They're going to try to make their case for what the U.S. can do to increase manufacturing capacity and try to win back some of that capacity from overseas competitors as consumer demand for these high-tech goods that increasingly involve chips, as that demand explodes. Today, CEOs of several companies, including Alphabet's CEO Sundar Pichai, Ford's James Farley, GM's Mary Barra, and HP's Enrique Lores will have that conversation with the White House and other companies like those making everything from medical devices to...
Interesting, not only for the chip shortage, but also for taxation. Get those corporate execs in the Biden administration and throw some furniture around.
Lucrative incentives like those overseas. China, South Korea, Taiwan, others have direct subsidies, tax holidays, and also discounted land, loans, and equipment leases. And in some cases, it costs company half to build those plants in those countries, helping to grow market share overseas at the expense of manufacturing market share here in the U.S. But Boston Consulting Group estimates that that could be reversed by an investment of about $50 billion. That, BCG says, would draw investment for 19 new fabs, as these factories are called.
This is exactly the big thing right here that we expect to happen. So see this, look at this, 19 new fabrication plants, 70,000 new jobs for chips to prevent these chip shortages. What happens when there are chip and supply shortages? Capitalism says you build more factories.
Inform conversations with lawmakers about that plan. There's one bipartisan meeting that's happening later today, as well as a near-term report that the National Security Council is producing by June 4th about what can be done to help alleviate that global semiconductor shortage. That meeting's happening at 12 p.m. Eastern. Guys.
All right, Kayla, and we'll try to talk to
All right,
Intel's
let's jump back on over here.
Later.
So, yeah, I did see some of the talk about the Tesla coin talk. I can pull that up here for a moment here. Let's see here. So why don't we pull it up here briefly and just look at it here. Tesla stock tokens begin trading on Binance crypto exchange. Stock tokens will allow investors to buy and sell fractions as small as 1/100th of the underlying Tesla share. I mean, can't you do that on like, yeah, I mean, I know mentioning it sometimes upsets some people, but can't you already do that on like Robinhood? Tesla stock tokens will be available on cryptocurrency exchange Binance when the NASDAQ opens Monday, but not for everyone. Investors in the U.S., mainland China, and Turkey will not be able to own the stock tokens. Will not? Okay. Which allow traders to buy and sell fractions of the underlying shares. Right, probably because of the SEC there, huh? Tesla tokens will be priced and settled in BUSD, a stable coin, pegged to the dollar. Stock tokens. If somebody knows how I can invest in Paxos, by the way, please get me into Paxos. Or if you want to sell a big multifamily building, hit me up too. But like big, like 20+ mil. Okay, we got to look into some multifam. All right. So all right. Anyway, let's jump back on over to the sticks here. All right. So back at the sticks. Tesla's still running here. We've got 3.6% here on Tesla now, back over 700. It makes me happy about my move on Friday. On Friday, I did a nice sort of reconcentrating, and I bought a big old chunk of Tesla. Although I did talk about that too in that big 1.2 mil video there. Let's see here. Tesla announces, on Monday, April 26th. Thank you, Haas, in the course. Appreciate you posting this. Tesla on Monday, April 26th will be reporting its earnings and earnings call. That'll be fun. It'll be fun. So obviously expecting pretty exciting earnings from Tesla. Voyager Digital kind of had its boost here. This stock, by the way, does this. This would be like a very difficult one, in my opinion, to trade because right here you get these big boosts as the market opens, but then it always seems to kind of consolidate throughout the day or just relax a little bit. Get that volatility going away. All right, let's see here. Tilray, Zom, Fubu, GameStop, all down here. Look at this. Is intense. Wow, this is some pain right here. Zom down 7.3%. And keep in mind what Bloomberg said last week too, which of course I talked about on the channel. But Bloomberg talked about, I think it was last Sunday or Saturday. I can't remember. Not this one, but the one before it. They talked about potentially a rotation away from momentum stocks coming. And so far, things have kind of been trending in the Bloomberg direction. That, yeah, there has been this sell-off in the momentums. Zom being one of them. GameStop reiterating that, being down 7.5% here. Virgin Galactic down 6%. Microvision down 6%. ChargePoint down 5%. Why Carnival down as well? Carnival Arcimoto has just been getting beat up. Rough. So what else here? Affirm. Canoe went down to $9.07 here, up to $9.38 again. EXPI, I'm gonna end up buying some more of this one. Let's see here. Where's Matterport? Is Matterport still selling? Pinterest down 3%, but then again, it's also still at 82, so it's actually doing very well. Really like that one under 70. Where is Neo? I have not seen Neo today. Neo's hiding. So stinker. Where is it? Okay, it's down 2%. And then where is Matterport? GHVI 30. It's like 1337. Great number. Let's see. Ubiquity's almost at 275. Being patient on there. Peloton's up a little bit again from where it was down. Let's see. C3. Okay, Enphase recovering a little bit here as well. Kind of looks like we hit this bottom almost 9 minutes ago. Yeah, let's see here. I'm going to pop over this here. Let's go pop around here just to try to see it. It's interesting to me. None of the news stations are really talking about what's this oddness happening here in the market. What are they saying about Bitcoin?
On Wednesday, everyone's anticipating it. Coinbase, world's largest crypto exchange, and really it'll be the first listing of its kind. So it's a good test, especially at a valuation of $100 billion, which would make it the most valuable listing since Facebook almost 9 years ago. So the thinking goes, if there's that much investor interest to buy into Coinbase, there's a lot of money and a lot more interest to invest into Bitcoin. And we have a long list of companies like the Teslas, the Square, PayPal's, and the MicroStrategies of the world. Also, I want to show you some of the movers today on the back of this spike in Bitcoin prices. And we're talking about the Riot blockchains this morning. MicroStrategy just said that they will pay some of their executives in Bitcoin if they choose. And of course, a Grayscale Bitcoin Trust, we're up because usually it trades on how Bitcoin prices do. But, we do have a lot of bullish calls up there, Stu, in terms of where Bitcoin prices go. This morning, I saw 400,000 per coin in the next few years, especially if we have these halving events when you slice the supply of Bitcoin every 2 to 3 years, and that's how they control inflation. So supply goes down, prices usually go up.
Yep.
Look at this. Wow, finally some financial info on Fox. Oh.
Yeah.
It looks to me like that, at least. It's kind of dominating a lot of things at the moment.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you, Susan. All right, sad news. The National Guard getting deployed.
Okay, back to back. Yeah, interestingly, we're really stuck on Microsoft over here at CNBC. We're going to get off that right now? Okay, maybe that'd be nice. And then Bloomberg's on commercial right here. This hour, the Overstock CEO. Okay. All right, so let's see here. What do we got at Bloomberg? Music. Okay, great. Boomer talk. Okay. So I added Riot over here so we could just keep an eye on Riot as well. Honestly, one I should have added a long time ago. Oh, man. My eye is killing me. It's too itchy. I got to turn that filter up. I think if I do that, though, it'd be a little bit of a mistake. Hold on. Turn up. There we go. Run that air purifier double the speed. All right. So, yeah, well, shout out to Tesla, obviously, here. Doing very well today. We do have, let's see, Domino's, cheesecake. No clear. It's almost kind of like the clear teeter-totter is broken. Is that a Lucid commercial? Oh, it is. Lucid commercial on CNBC. That is one thing Tesla doesn't do is TV commercials. But then again, I mean, Tesla, being number one, it's almost kind of like I feel like everybody already knows about Tesla. If you're anyone else, it seems like, you got to go back to traditional advertising. You did not get that first mover advantage here. So Bitcoin 60.1, but it used to be that we would just have all the recovery stocks trade together and then all the tech stocks trade together. It's just a mess right now. It's really, today is a momentum sell-off over here. Very much a momentum sell-off. If, Plug Power, GoPro, and then, of course, the Tilray with its earnings. GVO is kind of a momentum move as well. Carnival, let's see how this has been moving over the last few days here. Let's see here. Okay, so Carnival actually, even though it's selling down right now, has not been doing too horribly. It's actually been doing pretty decently. See, it's just bobbing around these highs over here. So I guess you can't feel too bad here. Vuzi's selling down about 5.6%. We ordered those the glasses, so we'll see what those are like. It's probably saying goggles might be an insult. I don't know. EXPI just broke under 40 on this soft downtrend over here after that stock split. Really skyrocketed the stock into awareness. Upstart down 4% today, back to 122. Shift, Pinterest, okay, very good food. By the way, I got to look into this, but this particular company, and maybe before I say anything, I should confirm first. I'll circle back on that. Remind me tomorrow about that one. We'll share some insight. Okay, let's listen in here for a moment. They're finally done with Microsoft.
Saying tech integration is the key to reform. Joining us now is CNBC exclusive interview, Overstock CEO Jonathan Johnson. Jonathan, just explain to me actually what that even means, tech integration. Why is that a key to voting reform?
Look, access to voting needs to be safe, secure, and secret or private. We need to make it easy for all eligible citizens to vote, and that can be done with improved technology. We heard Tim Cook at Apple calling for.
Okay, we're gonna jump off of this. Nope. TV commercial over here. Unbelievable. Oh, here we go. Talking about Powell.
But the other issue is the stock market. Mohammed El-Arian writing about this today in Bloomberg Opinion. You can see that the price-earnings ratio has skyrocketed. And Lou Wang of Bloomberg also has a great piece today suggesting that even in 2023, earnings won't justify that kind of elevation. So does the stock market turn into a bubble before the Fed acts? Does inflation take off before the Fed acts? Those are going to be the questions that Wall Street and Main Street are going to be talking about for the rest of this year.
Absolutely, Mike. And Wall Street's been talking about it for a while. Main Street, I think, starting to catch up, though. If you go to an auto dealer, if you go to the supermarket, if you try and buy a dishwasher or a washing machine, you're already starting to see some of that inflation maybe coming through. Mike McKee, thank you very much indeed. Joining us now to discuss all of this, to give us
I mean, in fairness about like the dishwashers or the appliances, is they've all been so sold out lately. Like the amount of time it takes to get a refrigerator now is ridiculous. And a lot of that because of the supply chains.
However, we may see actually inflation running in advance of that base effect, i.e. inflation plus. How does Wall Street react to that? We're at 1.67 on a US 10-year. Does the CPI data start to move that number higher again?
Yeah, look, it's a great question, and one that actually has been pretty well publicized and communicated by the Fed. And I think that's really helped Wall Street maintain its composure during this time. Clearly, the Fed last year indicated to us that they're willing to tolerate inflation higher than their 2% target. They call that average inflation targeting, and they didn't specify over what period of time they'd tolerate that. So it could be for months, even a year or so of above 2% growth. Also, keep in mind, we've been below their 2% target for nearly 10 years now. Only a handful of times since the last financial crisis have we actually exceeded their core PCE 2% target. And so in some ways, a little bit of inflation may be healthy, maybe what the Fed is looking for. In some ways, in an economy, it does show signs of growth. It shows signs that the economy is rebounding, that we are getting some pricing power back into the hands of small businesses. And so, keep in mind, when we compare the US, for example, to Europe or Japan, where yes, inflation is very low, but growth is very low, rates are negative. We don't want to necessarily get into that more stagflationary environment. So a little bit of inflation is healthy. We don't think that above 2% will spook the Fed in any way. And I think the market is accepting of that as well.
So on the flip side, though, then you have the whole margin issue, pressure, peak earnings conversation. Morgan Stanley getting a little bit more defensive, et cetera. You have Bank of America out with their call also saying that 2022 is going to be really tough, in part because of the margin pressures. How does that view, that positive view, then feed in to the idiosyncratic stories?
Yeah, certainly as we get to the second half of this year, we do see a little bit more headwinds coming to the forefront. So one, of course, is we will hit peak growth here in the U.S. sometime in 2Q or 3Q of this year. So meaning after that, we will get an inflection point. The rate of growth will slow, although growth.
That's interesting. An inflection point in the rate of growth. It makes sense, sort of recovery growth. But let's hear this.
Sometimes that is an inflection point for markets as well. So certainly that's a headwind. Certainly, we could see rates continue to grind higher. We got as high as 175 on the 10-year. But keep in mind, over the last 10 years, like we talked about prior to the pandemic, the average 10-year was 2.4%. Growth was also in that 1.5% to 2% range. Now we're in an environment where growth could be much higher. This year, 6.5%. Next year, even 4% growth, and rates are still, sub 2%. So certainly that could be a headwind as we, continue to see rates grind higher as well.
Marty, you mentioned something interesting a moment ago. You talked about that inflection point. And I'm wondering when the market starts to price that moment in. I've seen small caps underperforming over the last few days, significantly underperforming. They've had a great run. Are we already there? Is the market already starting to make this decision, starting to rotate out of those stocks that have done so well during this recovery phase?
Yeah, absolutely. We're starting to think about it as well. We certainly think that there is another leg higher in the value rotation as we get through this true reopening of the economy here in the summer months. But we are starting to be a little bit more selective. We're certainly starting to be a little bit more active in the way we think about how we want to deploy new capital, at least, and how we think about the value rotation.
She's good. She's got some good insights.
Seasonal effects may come into play this year. Traditionally, it's been that sell in May and go away, but maybe this year it's delayed a bit. But certainly we do see that at some point we will probably face a period of consolidation around these great gains we've seen really since November of last year, when the elections happened and when the vaccines were approved. And so we've had a great run thus far. You could argue that early stage recovery play has probably now been 2/3 or 3/4 through its cycle. And so certainly we're starting to be a little bit more selective. We do still like some of the higher conviction value rotation. So if we think rates are grinding higher, that certainly lends itself well to financials, some yield curve plays. If we think this reopening momentum continues through earnings, some of the reopening plays make sense to us. And then, of course, the Biden agenda makes a lot of sense to us. We think that he's really committed to pushing it through areas of infrastructure, even parts of the 5G and cybersecurity market, supporting broadband. And then, of course, the clean energy story, which we think had a...
All right, I'm going to pull off this for a moment. I just want to mention a few things there. Really interesting. She says, now's the time to be more selective on which recovery stocks you pick. Be watchful of the inflection point in growth coming, and we'll have this booming growth starting out this year, and at some point that will inflect downward. Yeah, well, I've also read some of the comments here. I do want to point out one here. Let's see, one comment here, Baller. The conflicting news media of saying inflation versus economy booming, very annoying, too confused with their own narratives. Yeah, I mean, you can almost a little bit see both sides on that one, possibly, just because as the economy does boom a lot, we could create even more short-term supply pressures, which could lead to even more inflation. So it's also so difficult and tricky. And I think that's why the Fed is saying, hey, we'll wait to see what actually happens before we decide what we want to do. For example, like here's this comment. Inflation is coming. I'm thinking 5 to 7% when gas is up 20% for premium. Energy stocks are down 5%. Cement is down 5%. And long commodities are up 31% for the last 12 months. Fed is not in control. Yeah. I mean, in fairness, the Fed does say we should have stable prices. And that seems like anything but stable prices, right? Definitely a lot of craziness happening. So, all right, let's go back to the sticks here. I haven't looked at the sticks in a little bit as we listen to that, some of the other shows. So let's go back here. All right, Tesla's almost up 4%. Wow, almost up 4% here on Tesla. Voyager Digital is up for 3.8, selling off a little bit. Alibaba is doing very well in the day here. Riot Blockchain's also doing pretty dang well, holding on to those gains. Xpeng, on the other hand, is not. Xpeng kind of following all of the other EV trades, which are basically all in the exception of Tesla. Ooh, look at the momentum. Oh, look at the GameStop move here. We hold on a sec here. We're messing up here, okay? We gotta get this right. Yeah. There we go. Okay, we got the soundboard up. Okay, good. So 11% on GameStop, not so good here. Plug Power selling down 7%. OGI came out of nowhere and also is now down 7%. Zom's down 8%. We've got Microvision coming up on 7% down here. A lot of pain and momentum right now. Gee whiz, this is the good old pain. Yeah. All right, SunPower. Gosh, SunPower has been another one of those that has been very volatile, but also consolidating down here very nicely. Let's see, Clever down 5.5 after that 18% run up on Friday. Arcimoto just been getting beat to crap as well. Just a solid consolidation down. You're seeing this pattern in a lot of places. Really, since February, you're just seeing this down, and staying down too. Seeing a lot of that. Carnival down for obviously up good on when we look at the day chart. But intraday, definitely down, trying to recover a bit over here. Let's see, what else do we have here? Pinterest, down nice 3.5. Where are some of the other ones? Where's, let's see, GHVI again. MP Materials down 2.6 as well. Nope, still not getting my buy at Matterport. Really looking for that buy there at 13.13. Tattooed Chef is down under 19. Enphase down 1% as well. We've got Apple's down 0.66%. CrowdStrike's down, despite those comments from Fed Chair Jerome Powell. Etsy roughly flat. Amazon roughly flat. Very, very few things doing well today. I mean, we're at roughly a page and a quarter on Webull right now. That's green, which is pretty low green day. There's a lot of red today. Honestly, weird that Tesla is where it is today. Is Enphase recovering yet? Oh, it's gonna be a while until Enphase recovers. Enphase though, love it. So I don't mind picking up the Enphase steals and deals. All right, what else do we have here? So yeah, Tesla 3.8%, Voyager. Okay, good. Let's see. Fox Business is talking about life on Mars. You got to see it to believe it. Okay, they have, maybe you barely saw that. Let's see CNBC here. Let's see what we got. What is this? All right, let's see what they're saying about Tesla.
Unless you have ample capacity. And so if you look at the all of the capacity has been going to the vehicles, Model S, X, 3, Y. And as they open that up, we think this is going to be another leg to this stool.
Hey, Jed, I just wonder, I mean, your thesis, your framing is understood, but do you think the street is still myopic about the car business, and that once we get signs that the GMs and Fords of the world are going to get a leg higher, at least on the chase, that they're going to think of Tesla as an auto story, and they're not going to be giving things like storage enough credit?
Yeah, and I think that's where the street will be wrong. I think that will be the focus. I mean, that's what I'm going out on a limb and saying. I think that the way that Tesla looks at solving problems is fundamentally different. Now, I've worked within a Fortune 500. I understand that logic and the linear way that most companies are attacking the problem. But I think Tesla is bringing a machine gun to a knife fight. And I think that is going to continue to allow them to expand their lead.
Yeah.
Have you factored in possibility of infrastructure spending here in the U.S. and what that could mean for the company, or would that just be an added bonus to your thesis right now?
Yeah, it's hard to say that that's parsed out. I mean, I think that would be an added bonus. Really, the energy storage angle is what we have changed to our model, and that is probably what's new, as well as the delivery. I think everything else is a bit of a tailwind for them. At least at this point. One of the risks to our call is probably on the chip shortage side. And we don't think that is going to be a major near-term headwind, but that is a risk to the timing of our upgrade.
I'm glad you brought that up, given the fact that semiconductors are very much in focus with the White House holding that event today. Jed, thanks for joining us.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
Speaking of which, still to come, and we'll get a closer look at that White House Semiconductor Summit kicking off in just a few hours. We're back in a couple of minutes.
All righty. So let's see if there's any other news. Let's go look at the top news section. Let's see. BofA Citi seek to save traders time with fixed income platform. Oh, good one. All right. Let's see. China vaccine concerns. India approves Russia shot. Really, it's no news. Is what I'm hearing. Tomorrow, that CPI data is gonna be fun. Then we'll have some news. Airlines don't know. Okay. Okay. All right. What else? What else is moving? Things are pretty stable from where they were when we last checked in here. Still down 10% there on GameStop. Tried coming up here, but also softening again here. Yeah, kind of relaxing. XL Fleet, geez, XL Fleet 757 now. We got Gevo down to 778. Most of these things are pretty stable though. Tesla pulled back a tiny little bit here, back to 3 1/3. Uber's doing very well today. What was the news regarding Uber? I don't know. Do we have Uber says demand for rides is recovering faster than driver availability. Okay. That could be good. Increase some prices, increase some commish for Uber maybe. All right. Let's see here. Anyone else got anything to talk about? Nope, they're talking about Mars. Let's try them over here.
Broadway needs to get going again. And if you want Broadway to get going, if you want the TV industry to get going, you got to vaccinate these people.
Or is the whole
it's
thing.
a upfronts and sort of personal business. Well, let's talk broadly about what is happening in terms of the vaccination numbers. Basically 5% of the population globally has been now fully vaccinated. Obviously, the distribution incredibly lopsided. Most vaccines, of course, going to the wealthiest countries. Joining us now to talk about what is happening, Europe starting to catch up to the United States, the US well ahead, but others well behind, is Drew Armstrong. Drew, bring us up to speed with what we need to know.
Well, there's quite a bit. Right now, obviously, the United States continues to lead in the vaccination campaign around the world. I think it's really, you look at where the numbers are, it's rolling out more shots per day than almost any other country of comparable size. Kind of it and the UK are right there at the top of the charts. Europe, quite far behind. And globally, one of the interesting things to see is that the vaccination rate has really begun to pick up some serious steam, where we're almost seeing 20 million doses a day going to arms around the world, according to our counts. And a lot of that is coming from China and India, as well as the U.S. At this point. But China in particular now, I believe, is doing,
All right. Good news on vaccine distribution. Let's pop in over here.
Summit on the global chip shortage is in focus this morning. Our next guest says the shortage, as it is right now, is one of the worst he's seen in his 4 decades in the business. Ganesh Murthy joins us, CEO at Microchip Technology. Ganesh, thanks for the insights today. Great to see you.
Good morning, everyone. How are you?
Doing well. I want to talk about the inputs you think the White House is after for the medium term and the long term. But I wonder if you can just talk about that comment about the short term. The worst you've seen in 40 years?
Absolutely. I think the imbalance between supply and demand has never been this acute in all my history in this industry. And it's continued to get worse over the last 6 months. It's the rate at which new orders are coming in and demand seems to be increasing is outpacing the capacity that we can bring on board. So clearly a constraint we're going to see through this year, most likely into next year.
So you've obviously been through so many cycles, and I wonder that point at which demand returns and supply catches up, what has broken down this time? What makes it so different? Is it the sheer force of the demand's return, or are chinks in the supply side that we're not paying enough attention to?
I think this has been brewing for some time. If you go back, the start of this is all the way back into late 2018, 2019, when we had the tariffs start to create headwinds for many of our customers. They couldn't absorb the tariffs, and the end consumers couldn't bear the prices. So our demand went down in 2019. And then as things began to, supply chains realigned to build outside of China for the US, we hit COVID. And then COVID hit through the first half of 2020 and just added to the thing where automotive, industrial, consumers and all that stopped buying. So we got a catch up here from all the way from 2019 into 2020. But as all that slowdown happened, manufacturers like us could not get a demand signal from our customers that gave us enough warning to get started. And so all of us leaned out our inventories. We started to idle some of our factories to run less than what they could normally do. And fast forward, here we are. And it takes 6 months of cycle time from when we say go to when we can begin to have production in full force. And that started about September of last year.
All right. I know you're not going to be at today's summit, but if you were at the table and you were asked by somebody, what do we do to make sure this never happens again? What's the answer?
So I think there are two separate issues. I don't think today's summit, at least to my knowledge, has much of an effect on 2021 and 2022. These are just, supply-demand imbalances from normal economic cycles that have been taking place here. Nothing that the summit is going to talk about today, I believe, will affect 2021 and 2022. I think where the summit does, in fact, have a value to spend time on is, what are the policy initiatives that are going to be important to support a stronger semiconductor manufacturing infrastructure in the U.S. in the medium to long term? And, semiconductors are the foundation for our digital economy. So much of what we do depends on them. And both for economic reasons and for national security reasons, it behooves the U.S. government to ensure that the long-term strength and resilience of the American domestic semiconductor industry, both research and development and manufacturing capability are there.
Right, but that takes a long time.
This can be done through policy initiatives.
That takes a long time, doesn't it? How many years are we talking about here until we could actually get to a point that you're describing, if in fact we went down that path?
I think government initiatives, as far as R&D initiatives, can probably happen in the next 1 to 2 years. I think really manufacturing, which is what the biggest issue here is probably at least 3 years away from when we say go at a government level to something that comes out.
All right, I'm going to pull back off this. I mean, he's got some good points that, hey, would have been nice to have some more notice on the chip shortage, but unfortunately, can't ask for those things in hindsight. And that this vaccine, this chip summit today isn't really going to do anything for us, probably at least for the next few years at least. Otherwise, stocks are pretty much holding on to where they had been. Voyager just up 3%, kind of deflating a little bit on Voyager. Tesla kind of trying to hold on to that 3% gain, but also a little bit of deflating right now. Very red in the momentum stocks. I mean, momentum sector entirely. I mean, look at this. It is just brutally red over here. Back to 11% on GameStop. Tilray 13%. OGI 8.3%. Clever giving up that 18% gain, now down 8%. Plug Power almost down 8, 7.5. Virgin Galactic over 7. Blink over 7. XL Fleet is down over here. SunPower, Arcimoto, Gevo, Sundial, Clover Health, Golden Nugget, Carnival, all down over 5% here. Workhorse right there at 4.93. What is Workhorse at these days? 1242. Okay. Yep. Crazy day for the momentums. And Tesla again trying to see if it can maintain, but it has been selling off the last few minutes. Mara Digital doing very well here, and so is Riot. Obviously on Bitcoin's latest highs again, getting back to 60,200 here. Almost to those all-time highs that we've had of 61,800 at the beginning of March. So we'll see how Bitcoin reacts tomorrow to that inflation data. That'll be really interesting. So really pay attention to Bitcoin tomorrow. All right, folks, that's it for today. I've got the course member live stream in 1 hour and 22 minutes. So if you've got particular questions, see you there. Answer your questions there. Looking forward to it. And as far as everyone else, thanks so much for being here. We'll see you with another video later. Thanks.